Once you have this sculpture looking like the form that you would like it to look like, so what you're going for is a lot of movement. You're taking that mesh, this mesh wire, and you're kind of putting it, like I said, in the negative spaces, and then you're curving around the edges, just like that. Once it is curved around on all the edges, you are able to move around the sculpture. Just kind of like figuring out, okay, is it going to have movement in the end, and how is that going to look? Just remember, this is an abstract sculpture, so it's not going to look like an animal or a person or a tree. You're not going to be able to tell what it is, but it should have some movement in it. Look for places where it's kind of like there's no movement. You definitely, if you have any overhanging wire, you're going to just kind of cut that off and see if there's another place you can actually use it, which actually could be right here. So there might find another spot that you can stick it where you forgot some negative space a little bit. You don't technically have to cover up all the negative space. Actually, some open space actually makes the sculpture look really good. And remember that wire that you started with, the wire gouge, that was just to give you a structure for the inside, to have something to kind of work with. And as you see, the mesh wire is very malleable. You can really move it around. It's very flexible. You can even dent it in parts of it, just to create some high and low contrast within your sculpture. Everything is going to be covered in plaster. And so you're going to start with plaster strips. Now these plaster strips, you don't want to dip in just big handfuls like this thick and then put them on here. I would recommend kind of cutting them into strips and then dipping them in the water. You dip them in twice and then kind of wring it out. I do like to wear gloves with plaster. It does tend to get everywhere. You do not have to though. It is it's a powdery substance, so just make sure you're in a place where you can kind of make a mess, or put some newspaper down if you need to. And then you go ahead and you're just going to lay it on top of here and start to basically start almost like paper mache, but you're using plaster strips. And then that's going to sit on there to dry. You may only get to cover one side, and then you'll have to do the inside another time. If you can do it all at once, that's great. It does need 24 hours to dry, so I'm going to go ahead and work on mine and then kind of show you what it looks like after. It will be able to see, you'll be able to see all the turns and the movement in the sculpture and the planes within the sculpture after.